Freeland is back again defending Trudeau. If you dislike Trudeau, then this is for you. As once again we see Pierre call it the truth of the carbon tax. And what happens when you call out the truth to Freeland? Well, let's just watch.
While common sense conservatives are fighting to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime, this Prime Minister is promising a cruel April Fool's Day joke, a 23% carbon tax hike on food, gas, and groceries. This at a time when the Prime Minister has forced 50 families at CFB in Gagetown, military families, to go to food banks. 2 million Canadians every month going to those same food banks. 8,000 as part of a Facebook group where they share tips on eating out of dumpsters. Will the Prime Minister gain some compassion and some common sense and spike the hike?
This speaks close to home for me because I can imagine that many of the people watching this right now can relate to a lot of what Pierre is saying. We are in an economic crisis in Canada as we speak and watch this video. Everything has skyrocketed in price. I know personally, just my little everyday things, my coffee creamers to my favorite drink I like to pick up, has almost tripled in price since 2017. And who came into office at 2017 around that time? You guessed it, Justin Trudeau. The thing that really upsets me about this carbon tax hike is that it seems excessive. 23% is a lot. It's not a small increase. And on April Fool's Day too, is that just a way of making a mockery of the people that actually have to pay these bills? Because the rich people, they're not paying this bill, and they don't care if they have to pay this bill. But every single middle class to poor person gets affected by this. Gas goes up, groceries go up, home heating bills go up. It's not built to help out people of Canada. It's built to help out the wealthy and the elite.
We'll take no lessons from the Conservatives when it comes to supporting the least vulnerable in our country. This is the party that wants to cut the Canada Child Benefit. This is the party that wants to cut support to our seniors. This is the party that wants to cut early learning and childcare, which supports so many families. They're opposed to dental care. They're opposed to pharmacare, Mr. Speaker.
The very interesting part about all of the things that she brings up is that, yes, a lot of these programs do assist Canadian families, but how come they're being implemented so late into Trudeau's reign of power? Because all of these programs could have been implemented 8 years ago. They could have proposed these 8 years ago, but the second that they saw that their party was losing favorability among Canadian citizens, they decided to give everybody exactly what people are hoping for. Because yes, a dental plan would be amazing. Pharmacare would be amazing. But the problem is this costs so much money right now. And we are in so much debt that we just can't afford these policies. And in my opinion, the reason that they're implementing them so late, because you notice the dates on these things, they're 3 years out. In order to get these policies implemented, that means we would have to elect Justin Trudeau once again. It proves that they don't actually care about the well-being of Canadians. It's all political strategy to keep moving the goalpost farther and farther to get the average person to believe that the Liberal government is on their side, which it isn't. It's all a political game. And for one, I don't like the way that Freeland talks down to us. It feels as if she is above us.
Here in falsehoods to distract from the fact that after 8 years of this Prime Minister, he's not worth the cost, and neither is his carbon tax, which will cost the average Ontario family this coming year $1,674 for a middle-class family that's lined up at a food bank, not able to feed themselves or pay their heating bill. Will the Prime Minister give his head a shake, cancel his cruel April Fool's Day joke, and spike the hike?
And what they're going to say here, and what a lot of people that are going to be critical of Pierre Poilievre is going to say that $1,600 isn't a ton of money across a year. But when you really think about it, that's $1,600 that you weren't spending the year before. You're spending that now. And wages aren't keeping up with inflation. Inflation is going up. Carbon tax hikes are going up. That money is becoming even more expensive. So the amount of funds that we have in our year-to-year lives just keeps going down while the cost of living just keeps increasing. How does anyone survive in an economy like this?
No one here is surprised to hear the Conservative leader talk about fear and falsehoods, because that is what he traffics in every single day.
I think it's valid to have fear right now. Because if you look at the reality of the landscape of Canada, almost nothing is affordable. Many people that are growing up nowadays think that home ownership is just an unachievable dream, that there is absolutely no way that they can even fathom owning a home one day. So what is the point in working, in grinding away your entire lifestyle to never even accomplish the goals that you were promised you could achieve if you worked hard as a kid?
Area of personal experts. Now, what he has proposed is, at least he is consistent. He wants to cut the support that Canadians get, and he wants to cut the support Canadian families are getting from the price on pollution. That's $1,800.
So the thing I find extremely funny about this is it's been, what, 4 years now of the carbon tax? 8 years? I can't even remember. But we can all look at our automatic e-deposits in our bank accounts. We know that that money is not adding up. The amount we get back from the price on pollution, quotation marks, is not equaling to the amount that we are paying every single year on this. It's a way of taxing the middle class. It is not a way of helping back Canadians that companies are paying for pollution. And I think it's absolutely preposterous that Freeland tries to promote this idea that this is helping people when it's actually hurting people.
Bucks Alberta families won't get. That's $1,120 Ontario families won't get. Cut. All they know.
So if you see the difference in the numbers here, she's saying $1,120 and Pierre said what, $1,600? Okay, even if we're taking what Freeland is saying at face value, which there's a risk in that, that's still a couple $100 discrepancy. It's still costing everybody money.
Know how to do.
So she just brags that Alberta families will get $1,800, but according to the parliamentary budget officer, the carbon tax will cost Alberta families $2,943.
Jesus, if you were from Alberta, I hear you.
So the Prime Minister takes away $2,943 and gives back $1,800. Mr. Speaker, it's almost like he's a bank robber who thinks that he's virtuous because he tips the teller on the way out the door. Why won't he spike the hike?
The Conservative leader should know a lot about living off the public purse. That's all he has his entire life.
I think this is a really interesting point to bring up because if you look at Justin Trudeau's lifespan, he's done that, but to another level of degree. We've got $200,000 hotel nights. He's never had a real career before going into politics. You can't argue that when your own party, the leader, has done the exact same thing, if not worse. It just doesn't make sense.
Now, when it comes to the price on pollution, this is entirely revenue neutral. The government does not keep a penny. It returns more money to 8 out of 10 Canadian families. That's a good deal for Canadians, Mr.
Like and subscribe if Pierre should be Prime Minister.